Hello, watching Vnews Bulletin. I'm Bangor from another headlines as usual.
Vietnam's economy expands by 8.02% in 2022. Vietnam outlays nearly $2 billion on fruit and vegetable imports. And later on, sound of gongs ring out in Central Highlands city of Pleiku.
Prime Minister Phạm Minh Chính attended a meeting reviewing the interior sector's achievements made in 2022 and discussing its tasks in 2023.
Prime Minister Chính told the year-end conference held by the Ministries of Home Affairs that public and corporate satisfaction should be used to measure the efficiencies of administrative reforms. He said reforming administrative procedures is among the key tasks for 2023, with people and businesses at the center. He asked the sector to continue contributing to building a streamlined, efficient and effective administrative apparatus in tandem with personnel restructuring and training. To fulfill the task, the sector needs to build and perfect relevant institutions and policies and improve the quality of their work while revamping its personnel management. He urged the sector to raise the efficiencies of state management over religions and beliefs, encouraging religious dignitaries and followers to participate in socio-economic development, national defense and security, and promote religious values. According to a report presented at the event, in 2022, the sectors coordinated to submit tens of important documents and projects to competent agencies for issuance, including 2 draft laws and 6 resolutions of the National Assembly Standing Committee, along with 10 decrees and decisions of the government and the Prime Minister.
Vietnam's GDP growth reaches 8.02% this year, a record high in the 2011 to 2022 period, as the economy is recovering strongly.
General Director of the General Statistics Office Nguyen Thi Huong said on December 29 that the agroforestry fishery sector expanded by 3.3%, contributing 5% to the total added value of the whole economy. The industry construction sector grew by 7.7%, while the service industry rose by nearly 10%. About the economic structure, the agroforestry fishery sector accounted for a proportion of nearly 12%, industry and construction 38%, and services 41%. GDP per capita was estimated at over $4,100, up $390 from 2021. The General Statistics Office said, improved business environment and social security have also contributed to socio-economic recovery and development, thus garnering trust and support of the people and business community.
Prime Minister Phạm Minh Chính has just asked the Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development to build a 180-day action plan to combat illegal, unreported and unregulated fishing.
The above ministry was also asked to deploy inter-sectoral inspection teams to coastal localities to examine the implementation of regulations against fishing and give guidelines on the settlements of problems. The government leader requested the Ministry of National Defense to coordinate with other ministries, sectors and localities and coastal localities to end the violations of foreign waters by March 31, 2023. Coastal localities, meanwhile, were required to strengthen communications to encourage local fishermen to strictly abide by legal regulations on fishing, improve the efficiency of controlling the origin of fisheries products, and increase inspections to ensure that exporting activities of aquatic products do not violate regulations against fishing. The action plan was made as recommended by the European Commission, and the PM asked relevant quarters to submit it to him and the government for approval and issuance.
Vietnam recorded year-on-year growth of 3.15% in the 2022 Consumer Price Index, while core inflation increased 2.59%, according to the General Statistics Office.
During 2020, domestic petrol and oil prices have been adjusted for 34 times, increasing 28% from a year earlier. Foodstuff price also increased 1.6%. Meanwhile, there are also some factors curbing the CPI uptrend, including pork prices down over 10%, house rent down 1.8%, and prices of postal and telecommunications services down 0.37%. This year's core inflation increased 2.5% from 2021, lower than the CPI growth of 3.15%, showing that changes in consumer prices have been driven mainly by food, petrol, oil, and gas prices.
Thailand is one of the largest markets in Southeast Asia for char fish imports from Vietnam. Nearly 80 Vietnamese char fish enterprises are now exporting products to the country, and the market will have potential into the future.
The Thai market accounts for over 45% of the total import value of Vietnam's charfish in Southeast Asia, with turnover of nearly $83 million in the 11th first month of 2022, up 67% year-on-year. High-volume exports include frozen charfish fillets, charfish cube cuts, spiced ingots, and dried charfish bubbles. Thailand has fully reopened its borders, and its tourism industry is recovering strongly. The reopening of restaurants and hotels creates major opportunities for Vietnamese food providers.
By the end of this year, Vietnam has spent nearly $2 billion on fruits and vegetable imports.
The value of fruit and vegetable imports increased nearly 40% in 2022, a new record ensuring that Vietnam is increasingly opening up its market. Vietnam imported the goods from some countries, mostly China and the US. Vietnamese consumers certainly benefit, while domestic manufacturers have to compete on a level playing field on their own turf. Statistics show that Vietnam has earned more than $3.3 billion from exporting fruit and vegetables.
A hot air balloon festival was held in Dallas City, the Central Highlands province of Lâm Dong, on December 28th, offering a chance to visitors to enjoy the famous tourist site from the above.
The event, part of the Dallas Flower Festival, drew hundreds of visitors who came to experience the service, which has been provided in the city for the first time. The balloon festival will last until January 1st. Particularly, on December 31st night, a mini hot air balloon show will be held, along with a night low-light show on New Year's Eve at Lâm Viên Square. Situated on the plateau around 1,500 meters above sea level, Dallas ensures year-round cool weather that is in contrast to Vietnam's tropical climate. As one of Vietnam's biggest flower-growing regions, producing around 3 billion flowers every year, the city is a must-visit destination for flower lovers around the world.
Gia Lai Cultural and Tourism Week 2022, which had just finished, is another effort by the Central Highlands province to preserve and promote its cultural heritage in association with tourism development. The event left a great impression on local people and visitors about the unique cultural features of ethnic minority residents. On a cold winter's afternoon, the mighty sound of gongs resounded throughout the Highlands city of Pleiku. Sounds that bring a touch of the jungle were created by more than 500 gong players.
So I'm looking for this festival. So I'm so happy and funny and surprised.
I have traveled to many places and enjoyed different cultures. The Gong Festival in Pleiku was really appealing. I will return in the future and enjoy this special festival space one more time.
Street gong performances are one of various activities held as part of the Gia Lai Cultural and Tourism Week 2022. Though small, it was attractive for domestic and foreign tourists. This will be a foundation for Pleiku to promote its heritage in association with tourism development.
We will continue to develop specific plans and programs to preserve and promote the values of the Gong cultural heritage. Programs such as street gong performances, weekend performances, a gong festival, and folk epic singing contests will attract tourists from all over the world to Zalai.
During the Zalai Culture and Tourism Week 2022, 150 booths introduced typical products from the province as well as elsewhere around Vietnam. Products from ethnic minority groups in the Central Highlands and those serving the upcoming Lunar New Year or Tet holiday were also on display. The well-known Thác Bà Lake tourism site in the northern mountainous province of Yên Bái will be developed into a national and international tourist destination by 2040 under plan approved by the Prime Minister. Thác Bà Lake spans nearly 20,000 hectares in Yên Binh and Lục Yên districts and boasts more than 1,300 islets and limestone caves. It became one of the 3 largest artificial reservoirs in Vietnam when the Thác Bà hydropower plant was built. Under planning, the tourism site will be expanded in tandem with the sustainable development of local tourism and rural and urban areas and the promotion of traditional culture and national values. By 2040, the site will have a uniform and modern tourism infrastructure and offer a range of high-quality tourism products with a competitive edge over others in the region. The site is expected to welcome some 1 million visitors by 2030 and 2.5 million by 2040. Hanoi now offers a one-of-a-kind journey that will take guests back in time to the heyday of Vietnamese literature in the ancient and medieval eras.
The tour takes place at the Vietnam Literature Museum, which covers an area of around 3,000 square meters and features displays of more than 3,454 artifacts representing the quintessence of Vietnamese literature. Visitors who take part in the tour will have the opportunities to visit the gardens of 20 notable Vietnamese figures, carry the thăm tài symbols to the Temple of Literature, and experience the Vietnamese literary space.
Our museum houses special and valuable relics, works, and stories from many generations of outstanding Vietnamese writers and cultural personalities. We hope that the museum will become a go-to destination not only for those who have a passion for literature but also for everyone and every family.
The literary tour also takes guests through the pages of poet Nguyễn Du and the Kiều story, critical realist literature, President Ho Chi Minh and his best poems, Crickett's adventure diary, poet playwright Lưu Quang Vũ, and Xuân Quỳnh literary career.
While each guest has unique literary interests, they all care deeply about protecting the country's cultural heritage. Taking a literary tour will make it possible for people of all ages to simply have access to and learn about important cultural characteristics and other topics.
The literary tour takes place every Saturday and Sunday and lasts for a total of 90 minutes.